Have you ever wondered how someone who is wealthy came to be so wealthy? To a small group of people, their success is a riddle, but to the majority, it is simply the outcome of adhering to a few straightforward yet powerful financial principles. Success tales can be found everywhere. Everyone seems to have a money success tale to share, from the friend who paid off her debt in a few short years to the couple who finally had enough saved for their dream home. It's tempting to assume that those who experience financial success followed some sort of rules when we hear these stories. After all, it can't be that simple to multiply A by B to get C, can it? Actually, it might be that simple. You can actually follow a straightforward strategy to become financially successful. The greatest part is that it's not some well-kept secret that only a select few are aware of. Anyone can complete it. Together with all of you, we here at Luxo-Life are excited about the upcoming year. In fact, anyone can follow these recommendations to design the lavish existence they've always envisioned for themselves. How many rules precisely are there? If you're interested, I'll go over them with you right away. Step 5. Keep it simple. Creating a business with 10,000 employees or comprehending complex financial instruments are two examples of esoteric disciplines that are commonly thought to require mastery in order to become wealthy. The majority of millionaires lead relatively simple lives, yet this tactic is very successful. For instance, you might be tempted to give up and stop attempting if you were given schoolwork that you believed you would never be able to complete. Many people approach making their fortune in this manner, but once you get moving, you might discover that it's not as difficult as you initially thought. Yes, this is once again the key to financial prosperity. Your bank account will grow as you learn more and place the pieces of the puzzle together. As a result, even though this is useful for getting started on the road to financial security, it is insufficient. You still need to maintain clarity as you move forward. Rich individuals frequently streamline or completely automate their financial operations. This requires using techniques like automating investments and bill payments, as well as using basic financial instruments like budgeting and spending monitoring. Being wealthy allows one to spend more time enjoying their abundance and less time worrying about their financial position. That must be the situation. You must acquire a similar mindset and simplify your life as much as you can if you want to succeed financially. Put your money in assets that are simple to manage, automate your financial administration chores, and use the extra time to focus on the things that will yield you the highest financial return. Phase 4. Maintain your victories. In the realm of finance, there are cents and dollars to be had, and how much attention you give to each will determine how successful you are. What exactly do I mean when I say this? This is what I mean when I say that in order to advance monetarily, you should give the tasks that will bring you the biggest rewards priority. I see people overemphasizing seemingly insignificant savings all too frequently. For instance, they follow conventional wisdom and give up daily lattes, cancel cable TV, or bargain for a $10 discount on their monthly phone bill, despite the fact that none of these actions will speed up their journey to financial independence. I'll use an example to demonstrate how useless this tactic is. If you purchase Starbucks coffee on every workday of the month, as opposed to giving it up and going through stimulant withdrawal, you could save about $80 per month. Although it may seem like a large amount, the yearly payment is only $960. The wealthy concentrate instead on achieving significant financial victories because they understand the futility of such pointless financial maneuvers. It would rather downsize its residence and save $1,000 a month than land a new $3,000 customer. As you can see, by making these more significant changes, you can save the same amount of money in a much shorter amount of time, and you already know that time is their most valuable resource. Does this imply that you shouldn't consider making an effort to save some money in this manner? Even though minor victories won't significantly improve your financial position on their own, acting on them can backfire. However, when combined with significant achievements, they can be a great addition to the key drivers of your financial development. If you're like most people and wondering what other big wins you need to go after, here are a few that can be very beneficial. Changing jobs for big pay raises. Starting a successful side business. Cutting back on essential costs like housing, transportation, and food. and getting rid of time-wasting activities that you can replace with time spent earning more money. Step 3. Keep an eye on limiting waste. You were probably a good child who learned early on that it was improper to cast away food that was still edible. You probably never did, but many adults forget this important lesson at some time in their lives and end up wasting a lot of money instead of food. Instead, interest is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of financial loss, but it's only one of the 3 major culprits. One of the expenses that bothers me the most is paying interest. Unfortunately, people's most common source of interest costs without any commensurate financial benefit is credit card debt. The typical interest rate on credit cards in the US is 16.4%, with a balance of just over $52,000. With a minimum payment of $100 a month, paying off this loan would require 61 months, or 5 years, and would incur interest costs of just under $2,500. Sadly, even though over half of the initial amount was lost to pointless interest payments, the financial waste continues. We have also lost money. Not the opportunity cost of having money in the bank, which is an issue in and of itself, but careless spending of money. If you deposit $10,000 in a savings account with an annual interest rate of 0.07%, you will only receive a pitiful $7 in income. If the impacts of inflation are taken into account, those $7 would be long gone and $10,000 would be considerably less valuable than it was a year ago. Our time is wasted, and if people understood how short their lives really are, I think they would spend less time in mindless activities like watching television and more time with their loved ones, or starting their own prosperous companies. You can bet that cutting back on your weekly Netflix viewing and using that time instead to learn a new skill or start a business would improve your financial position. Since you are now aware of this issue, you shouldn't let it keep you from prospering. The vast majority of people are completely unaware that they are being held back by their own garbage. Step 2. Rein in the excess. I can't believe I still have to remind you that the first rule of enormous financial success is to spend less money than you earn. This statement may make some of you laugh, but a closer look at the data will reveal that many more people than you might anticipate have difficulty following this rule in everyday life. For example, currently, 36% of people making over $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. Contrary to popular belief, having a high salary is not always associated with wise money management. Budgets can be annoying, but living paycheck to paycheck is even more stressful, so they can be helpful in this circumstance. I'll share my personal spending strategy, which has prevented me from ever having to depend solely on one income, as long as you're still with me. How much is the budget? It makes sense that you would be interested. The split budget is a well-known budgeting technique that involves splitting your disposable income into 2 separate pots, spending and saving. By increasing your spending percentage to cover the costs you have been incurring on a regular basis over the past 6 months, and allocating the remaining funds to savings at the rate you prefer, you can increase your savings. If you follow your budget, you'll gradually start accumulating more money, something that many people fail to do today. But what do you do with all that cash now that you have it? The best answer I can give is to put those funds to use in investments. You should put the money you worked hard for to work for you, which could be in the shape of asset appreciation. Because of this, a lot of wealthy people put their extra money into real estate, stocks, cryptocurrencies, and other tangible assets. They only save money for emergencies or investment possibilities because they are aware that having a lot of cash on hand is not a wise financial decision. Do your research to identify assets that are in line with your financial goals once you are in a situation where you have extra money. The path to financial achievement can be easily paved, but starting out costs money. Step 1. The rule of income. The income rule is the best of all the rules I've so far stated. Therefore, be careful to remember this rule if you only remember one thing from today. As I said earlier, there are small victories and big victories in life. Being able to increase your income exponentially over time will have the biggest impact on your financial situation. Let me explain. There are 3 main methods that people approach accumulating wealth. The first is that, as we previously discussed, cutting a minor expense will not get you very far. In actuality, there is a limit to even significant cost reduction. For instance, unless you want to move back into your parents' basement, which may not be great for your cred, you cannot lower your housing costs to zero. You could also choose to walk everywhere instead of driving, but let's face it, that takes a lot more time and requires you to buy new sneakers more frequently than an 8-legged marathon runner. As you can see, reducing expenses is not the only way to gradually increase your income. The next option is stock trading. Sure, investing is a fantastic method to increase your wealth once you already have it, but it's a terrible tool if you have little money to begin with. For example, if you can only spend $50 per month for 50 years, your money will only be worth $270,000 today. You're probably thinking, wow, that's a lot of money. I assure you that $270,000 won't get you very far in 50 years when a gallon of milk costs $34. The last point is increasing your financial situation, which is where your concentration should be directed. Let me evaluate how effective earning more money is compared to the two other ways of accumulating wealth we just discussed, if you want to make real progress in your financial life. If you use the initial example of that upscale coffee shop down the street, you could save that $1,000 in a year if you wanted to have an extra $1,000. It would take just under 2 years to accumulate $1,000 if you invested $50 each month. However, you might have that $1,000 within the following 30 days if you picked up some overtime or closed a new customer. The most potent weapon in your toolbox for building wealth is your income, which has no restrictions. This is why you should always be trying to learn how to make money. And if you want to learn how, the main reason why most people never will is because I now make $10,000 per month. How will you make your existence a colossal financial success, Luxo lovers? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching and please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. To ensure that you never miss one of our motivational videos, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell.